All right, we're live.
Hello.
Hey guys, how's it going? So bear with us just a second. This is our first time streaming live on YouTube, and we're just making sure that everything looks good.
Yeah.
So we've been live streaming. We live streamed the first three episodes of this on our in our Facebook group. So we're gonna be live streaming on YouTube now.
So I did just post the link on Facebook. So we're hoping to be able to share it in our Facebook group.
Yeah, we'll see what
We'll
happens.
see what happens.
All right, so for those of you who have not joined us before, my name is Davy
And I'm Tracy.
from davyandtracy.com, and this is our weekly podcast that we just started last month called Magick Monday. And what it is it's an exploration of nature focused spirituality through ritual and discussion. So, we are going to talk about a bunch of different things today. We're going to connect to the moon phase, we're going to connect to the season, the dominant element of the day. We're going to be using oracle cards and tarot cards and talking about animal, mineral, and plant wisdom. And the goal of this is to help you connect to nature and to bring more calm and focus and peace and joy into your life. So
Sorry, I'm trying to do this technical thing. Give me 1 second so I can see if possibly I can get this to work.
and feel free to interact with this. Hit the like button on the videos. Subscribe to our channel if you're not already, and feel free to comment. Tracy and I want this to be interactive as much as possible. So
Yeah.
definitely be sure to interact and don't mind our
Child.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry. All right, I'm going to try one more thing.
Yeah,
If it doesn't
we
work,
gotta
then I'm
get
just going to
going.
get going.
We gotta get started.
I'm just going to try one more thing to see if I can get it into the group.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to do. Sorry. Um,
Right. You'll just have to do
okay.
it later.
It's not. I don't know if it's gonna stream.
Okay.
So I'm sorry.
So, here's what we're going to do. So basically, yeah, thanks for joining us, and we're gonna get started. So first thing we're gonna do is we're going to light a candle. We have a new candle this month. This is I got Tracy this set of candles. They're Reiki infused candles with essential oils, and there's one candle for each month, and each month has a different theme. So this now we're in a new month. It's May, so this candle's theme is happiness. So this is a theme for the month of May is happiness. And we're going to light the candle and bring the singing bowl. Singing bowl.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this to work, but all right. Later.
And we're going to take 3 deep breaths in through our nose and out through our mouth. And this just helps to center us and helps us to be fully present. And then I just like to use a little smoke. This is just a cedar smudge stick that I made myself. And this just kind of,
Helps
starts
to cleanse away any
the
sort of
ritual.
negativity.
I like to use sage as well. So I use both.
Mm-hmm. If you have sage or any sort of smudge stick, go ahead and use it. And like I said, this is sort of a way to just refresh. Just envision all of the smoke, just taking away any of the negativity that you've had so far today, any of the stress.
There. And what we do now is we just talk about what we're grateful for. And I encourage you to post a comment in this video and share what you're grateful for too. Um, Even if you're not watching this live, if you're watching the recording, just go ahead and post what you're grateful for.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to bring this with you to you guys.
Mhm.
This is something that we've done for a while, and it definitely helps to recenter, or kind of take away the negativity, just kind of focus more on positive. And it's a great way to start our week. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the beautiful weekend we had.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous weekend.
Yeah, we were able to get out with the family. We're starting to do more hikes on Saturday mornings, trying to get up first thing, and I'm very, very grateful for that.
I'm also grateful for the beautiful weather, that it's finally gotten to that point in spring where, I can start putting plants outside, and grateful that, um, we're all healthy, and um, yeah.
Sorry that we're not having technical difficulties.
Well, we're not
Um,
having technical difficulties. We were hoping to stream this into our Facebook group.
yeah.
And so Tracy and I just need to work out the kinks because we're not used to live streaming on YouTube. So I'm not sure how we're going to get the comments, and we need to play around with this a little bit because I see that I think it was Jen who's watching just posted
Yeah,
a comment.
can't see.
I can't see the comment. So unfortunately, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're kind of noobs. We're kind of noobs at this.
Nope.
I know. We're kind of noobs at this, so
Yeah.
we're gonna have to work out the kinks this week, and then next week we will look like we know more about what we're doing. So I apologize for that. But if you're watching this video live, or if you're watching the recording, do post what you're grateful for, because Tracy and I do like to read those and share them in this as well. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that with this one, and I don't want to spend all my time looking at a screen and figuring this out. So maybe Tracy and I will do an informal live on Wednesday, and just kind of work this out. So the next part is we're going to talk about the moon phases. So Tracy and I both work with moon phases, and I use the moon as kind of like a spiritual calendar. I find that it really helps me connect to moon phases.
More tech savvy than Davy does.
All right, Tracy's got the comments up.
Jen said, good morning. Good morning, Jen. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. She said, I'm grateful for the beautiful weekend, for clearing some overgrown garden areas on Saturday, and for a run in the woods on Sunday, and identified 3 spring wildflowers growing up on the forest floor. And she's working identifying plants. That's definitely something that Davy and I, or Davy does, and we appreciate as a family that he does that.
Yeah, we'll talk about some of the wildflowers we saw when we connect to the spring phase, because that's definitely something that I am learning more about. I know a lot about plants that I've grown in my garden, but I'm learning more about plants that are blooming out in the wild. And this time of year is awesome. There's a lot of spring ephemerals that are coming up, and I'm going to mention that more because I actually have a few notes of some of the things that we've seen. So let's talk about the moon phases. So right now we're in a waxing gibbous moon that's entering the sign of Libra today. It's going to be in the sign of Libra tomorrow. So like what I was beginning to say is, basically I use the moon as a spiritual calendar, and I wrote an in-depth article, I'll post it in the comments, on how I work with moon phases. I also incorporate astrology into this. I'm not necessarily a follower or proponent of astrology, but I do like the associations of the astrological signs that the moon moves through to direct my focus for my own spiritual work with the new moon. So I do pay attention to both the moon phases and the astrological signs. So right now we're in a waxing gibbous moon in the sign of Libra, today it'll be in the sign of Libra. And Libra is a sign of balancing, balance, harmony, and compromise. So the thing that I will focus on today and tomorrow, while the moon is in that sign and becoming full, is basically looking at areas of my life that might need more balance and harmony. Not necessarily in a sense where I need to release things to bring that harmony and balance, but where I need to fulfill that balance and harmony. By Thursday, the full moon is going to be in Scorpio. So full moons are associated with celebration. They're associated with basically when the moon is full, I like to celebrate where I am. It's kind of like celebrating a fulfillment. So there's a lot of, I practice a lot of gratitude on the full moon. But the other thing that the full moon is good for is preparing to release something. As the moon then shrinks down and becomes the new moon 2 weeks later, it's a good time to think about what you want to release from your life, to make room to receive. So when the moon becomes new again, you have that clean slate and you're ready to receive. The other thing I like to use the full moon for is more of a reflective time and to check in with where my reality and my environment is reflecting my own thoughts and emotions. Because the full moon reflects, or the moon reflects the light from the sun. It's not lighting us directly, it reflects the light from the sun. So I kind of see that as a metaphor for how our life and circumstances, to a large extent, reflect our thoughts and feelings. Um, yes, there are things that happen in our lives that are beyond our control, but there are also things that happen in our lives that are a result of our mindset and the way we think about things and the choices we make and the chances we take or don't take based on fear, uncertainty, self-doubt. And so this is a good time to really check in on that and do some journaling and just kind of say like, okay, what are my circumstances? What's going on in my life right now? What are my thoughts about this? And to what extent are my thoughts and my feelings being reflected back at me by others and my circumstances? Yes.
Real quickly, Sarah's on too.
Hey,
So
Sarah.
she said that she's grateful for the beautiful, warm, sunny day yesterday, and grateful for homemade meals, and grateful for picking back up on her personal development. And we appreciate Sarah's homemade bread.
Yeah. Um, so then the sign of Scorpio is associated with healing, rebirth, and a fresh start. So this is really Thursday, the full moon in Scorpio is a really good time to reflect on what might be interfering, how you're thinking and feeling about certain things, how your life and reality might be reflecting that back at you, and what you can do to have a fresh start and um, kind of a new way of thinking about something or a new way of feeling about something, or just starting going, like if you are holding back on starting something in your life or going down a path and you're holding back because of fear or self-doubt, the full moon in Scorpio might be a good time to just kind of evaluate what obstacles are in your way, and you know is it an obstacle yourself, is it something that's out of your control, and work your way through that. Journaling is a good way to do that. um, the new moon in Scorpio is in November. So, one thing that I like to keep in mind during the new moon is I might set an intention for healing and rebirth or having a fresh start on something during the new moon and work toward that fulfillment 6 months later when the moon is in its opposite sign, full moon. Um, the full moon being the fulfillment of that. By the weekend, we're going to be in the waning gibbous moon in the sign of Sagittarius. So the waning gibbous moon is a time to really focus on releasing and letting go of what is hindering us and what no longer serves us. And Sagittarius is really a sign of adventure and taking risks and getting out of our comfort zone. So this weekend would be a good time to really look at what you need to release from your life, even if it might feel risky or it's outside of your comfort zone. And maybe you need a little adventure. Maybe you need to release your hold on a rigid idea of how you feel things should be or a strict schedule. And maybe you need a little more spontaneity in your weekend, in your life. So that is your moon forecast for the week. And um, if you have any questions or anything like that you want to share, feel free to comment. Like I said, Tracy, I want to make this as interactive as possible. And yeah, I don't know if you're hearing our kid in the background. Yeah. He's getting a little rambunctious. So, all right. So we're gonna move on to checking in with the season, and the season is spring.
So when we check in with the seasons, we like to, spring is, the seasons are a long period. So we like to kind of check in with where we are right now in each phase of the season.
Right, spring is really associated with that kind of fertility and coming to life. So it's a good time of year to really start new projects and or recommit to things that you want to manifest into your life. But also, just connecting on a nature spiritual level, spring is a good time to, I think a lot of us do this anyways, is just kind of start really being present and noticing these first signs of spring and really connecting to the the season. And because this time of year there's new stuff blooming every day, every
Right.
single day there's new birds coming back, there's new animal activity.
Finally saw the baby geese.
Yep.
Yeah, Sarah said, I've been working on moving myself towards my goal of goal of being a health coach. It may be slow right now, but it's something that I really wanted to do, and I want to take small steps to move forward. And I am doing something similar. I'm trying to connect to the chakras, and I know a little bit about that, but that's something I'm really trying to further my Reiki path and learn the chakras. And this, I feel like this would help. That would help this might contribute to this magic learning. So something I'm working on too is working on becoming a chakra master as well.
Yeah. Some of the signs of,
Anything that you're working towards in the spring?
well, what am I working towards? I mean, I'm working towards, I mean, one, well, I'm working towards our website, our new direction. I mean, if any of you have been following us for a long time, you know that we have done some massive shifts in our website, and it kind of took us a while to kind of figure out where we're going. Can you hit that?
Sorry.
It took us a little while to figure out the exact direction that we wanted to go in, and I feel like we're finally off and running. This podcast is something that I'm really enjoying doing, and I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. And I'm yeah, so that's what I'm working for. Another thing I'm working toward is just learning more about the plants that I'm growing. I have an extensive herb and tea garden that I'm working on for this year. So usually I just plant pollinator plants, but this year I'm really taking it up a step, and we're doing a lot more herbs and tea plants, so that to make herbal teas, because I want my garden to be something that I interact with not just visually, but also taste and cook with it, and make tea out of it, and even some herbal medicinals. So that's something that I'm really diving into this year.
Yeah, it's gonna be really nice to have fresh herbs that we actually grow ourselves, and teas. That's nothing they're trying to work on after is
Right.
working on the herbal teas. I'm wondering if some of these are.
Jen said the sun is warmer and providing light to the forest floor. The small spring flowers I saw this weekend were hepatica, trout lily, and spring beauties. Those are common names. Once the leaves emerge, the forest floor will be shaded and different plants will grow. Sarah says, I'm loving having my fresh basil and cilantro to cook with.
Oh, Jen said, can you recommend good herb teas to grow?
Yeah, so what I'm growing in my garden right now is I have lemon balm, anise, hyssop, also known as licorice mint. I've got spearmint, which is coming up. We've had several patches in our yard.
Chocolate mint.
I have chocolate mint, regular mint, chamomile. I'm growing tons and tons of chamomile.
Lavender.
Yeah, lavender. I'm growing several types of lavender, including a Munstead lavender, which is a culinary lavender, and lemon thyme, basil. I mean, I'm just kind of playing around with a bunch of things, and I'm not done getting herbs. Some of these I've grown from seeds. Some of them I just got plants. But those are like the foundation. I love mint tea, so I'm growing a bunch of different mints. Some of the first signs of spring I just want to share real quickly that I saw this week, and because Jen mentioned some of the ones she's seen. We saw red trillium on Tuesday when we went for your birthday walk. Skunk cabbage has been in bloom and up for a couple weeks now. I saw my first bumblebee this week, and it's out here.
Oh,
yeah, and the spearmint is coming up. I've been looking forward to that because we noticed just by accident there's a patch of spearmint in our yard, last year, and so I've been anxiously waiting to see where it's going to come up this year, and we actually have quite a
Two
bit of
patches,
spearmint
yeah.
coming up, so I'm looking forward to teas and mojitos.
Oh,
Lily
really?
leaf beetles are back. Yeah, well, that's the thing with gardening is when the plants come back, the plant
Eaters,
eaters
bugs
come
come back too.
right back with
I know,
them.
we have a paper wasp creating a nest
Yeah, we have a wasp
right
nest
in front of our
over
door.
right over our door, so we need to take
Yeah.
care of that. So let's check in with the weather. So today is a windy day where we are in upstate New York, and so the element we're going to be working with today, and this will be the dominant element of the week, is the element of wind,
Mm-hmm.
or the element of air.
Air.
Sorry, and so air is really, I see air as a cleansing force, one that can propel you forward as long as you're willing to adapt,
Mm-hmm.
and go with the direction of the flow. I see wind as something that is kind of a powerful force propelling you one way, and if you're resisting that force, it could be problematic and cause suffering and misalignment. And sometimes you're not sure you want to go where the wind is pulling you. Sometimes it's just good to just steer into that direction.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that we do on air days is we use something to kind of have airflow in and airflow out. So it's kind of like allowing the wind to bring in what you want and allowing the wind to just take away what you don't want. We use this is a turkey feather.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have that, it's something that we're going to do. Is there something else I can use as a turkey feather?
You can use a leaf or a piece of paper. Yeah, but this is a turkey feather. It's really the only feather that you can legally own because you're not supposed to have in possession wild bird feathers.
Okay, so we're going to take a second. If you have a sort of feather or a leaf or a paper that you want to just kind of move air around
You can
you.
use your hand. You don't have
Mm-hmm.
to do anything.
Yeah, so this is basically just um, allowing yourself to flow the air in of what you want and then the flow out of what you don't want. So I am going to allow myself to have my own self care, my own working on my own self development. Right now, I'm definitely working on my child, and he is very important. But I need to focus on. I'm going to take some time and focus on my personal journey. I don't have anything that I'm actually releasing right now.
I'm working on. Can you get
Yes,
that
I'm going to
battery,
do that.
please? I'm working on bringing more life and being more present in the present day. And what I'm releasing, so we blow the air away from us, is worst case scenario thinking, just automatically assuming the worst is going to happen. And that's a habit that I'm trying to break. I've written about that a lot on our website. I just trust, now I'm blowing the air towards me because trust is something that I feel like I need to work more on. Just trusting myself and trusting in the process and trusting that, everything's going to be fine. We're all kind of going through uncertain times right now. So trust is something that I'm going to be, that's something that I want to
That's a really good one.
work on
That's
some
great.
more. Another thing you can do too, besides the feather, you can do kind of more like a smoke, because I associate smoke with the element of air. So, either a smudge stick like this or incense. You could also do the same thing. What I use the smoke for more is just kind of like, lighting and then stating an intention that you want to make and just letting that smoke carry it out into the universe. So that's another alternate to the feather ceremony. So why don't you draw? We're going to talk about we're going to wrap up with some animal wisdom, plant wisdom, mineral wisdom, and we'll draw the tarot card of the week. So Tracy, why don't you draw an animal card? Yes, just pull a card. And what do we have?
Personal choice.
It's my least favorite card in this deck.
Why?
I almost want because I don't like. So this deck that has a card, this is the Spirit of the Animals Oracle by Jody Bergsma. It's an awesome deck, but this particular card is like the personal choice, basically choose your own animal. And I prefer to really have
Something chosen for you.
Chosen for me. So I guess we can put this out here. If you want to choose an animal, I would say pull another card.
Let me read it. Close your eyes. What animal do you imagine? What strengths are you known for? What wisdom do you share? Embrace those qualities. And I think that it's sometimes great to allow yourself to close your eyes and choose, but I agree, I will.
Yeah, so if you feel called to working with a specific animal this week, go ahead and do that. But I like to. Oh, this is a good one.
Yeah, this is my spirit animal, frog. The keyword is prosperity. Let go of past and embrace change. Opportunities are close at hand. Hop onto a new day with joy. Abundance and good fortune await you. And this is a cute little
Frog is a good
frog.
Spring card too, because that's what we're hearing a lot now, especially in the evening, in the morning. We're hearing the spring peepers and a lot of frog activity going on. Yeah, right here. So throughout the week, I mean, we keep these cards on this table all week. So throughout the week, I might look at these cards and journal on them, and just act as a reminder to kind of think about the qualities of frogs and how that how maybe embracing some frog energy this week could help you out, or the qualities of.
Yeah, Jen said she stood outside and listened to the spring peepers last night.
Yeah, so where we are, probably in about another month and a half, we'll have bullfrogs like all night long, just almost right outside our window, because we're right on the river. The river's like, I don't know, 12 feet from our
house
window. So yeah, we'll be hearing a lot of bullfrogs, which are not as nice as spring peepers, but. All right, so plant wisdom card for today. This is from the Soulflower Plant and Spirit Oracle by Lisa Estabrook. And the card is Rose, which the keyword is joy. And so this is kind of in line with the happiness theme for the candle for this month. Says, Rose is comforting and soothing, infusing your heart and soul with gratitude and joy, and helping you to stay centered and loving to yourself and others when it is needed most. Rose reminds you to be open to the sweetness of life and support your personal growth, whatever the conditions surrounding you may be.
Yeah, Sarah said that she woke up at 3:30 with the 3:30 this morning. The peepers woke her up, so it was 3:30 this morning. They would all be going, and they would all stop. And then after a minute, one would start off again, and then they would all go in again. Sounds about right.
Yep. So let's see, what do we have for themes here? So we have frog prosperity. So the frog's about letting go of the past, embracing change, and looking at opportunities and optimism for the new day. Very spring energy. The rose is about joy and infusing your heart and soul with gratitude and joy. And Tracy and I found that gratitude is an extremely important practice. I consider it a spiritual practice.
And practicing it throughout the day too definitely helps spreading that joy and thinking about what you have to be abundant and what you have to be grateful for.
Well, and the thing is like it says, be open to the sweetness of life, and it supports your personal growth, whatever conditions surrounding you may be. Right now, the conditions surrounding us aren't the best, with the pandemic going on and a lot of uncertainty. And, I've had to take a step back from looking at the news because it's just so aggravating and depressing. But there's a lot of sweetness and joy in life, and it's important to focus on that. The tarot card for the week is the Four of Pentacles. And this card has a general association with stinginess. But the way I've always seen this particular card, because see, this guy's kind of like hoarding his coins, his pentacles. The way I see this card, though, because I don't know if you can see it, if you're familiar with that, there's a city behind him, and his back is turned to it, and he's focused on his pentacles. And I see this as a card of being focused on one thing. Usually like material, what you have, holding on to what you have because you're afraid of letting anything go. But in the process of doing that, by doing that, you're turning your back on a lot of opportunities and experiences in life that you might not otherwise have. So this card could represent stinginess, but I see it more generally representing someone who's too hyper focused on holding on to the way things are now, or the way things should be, or the way or what they currently have, and they're so afraid of letting go that they're missing out on a lot of life. And so tying this all together here with New Moon and Scorpio this week, which is about healing and rebirth, I feel like if you are holding on to things, holding on to ideas of how things should be, or being afraid of losing what you currently have to the point that you are of missing out on other opportunities and experiences, that it might be time to ease your grip on that so that you can heal and feel reborn and have a fresh start in your life. Again, the frog energy of that, letting go of the past and embracing change. You could also interpret these pentacles as like, past that it's time to let go of and just kind of ease your control over it. And, like when we talked about the rose, looking at the sweetness of life and gratitude, not turning your back on things because you're afraid of getting hurt or things seem too depressing or bleak. There's always sweetness where those are. I'm just gonna move so you guys can see a full Moon and Scorpio card. So that's Magic Monday for the week. So unless you have anything to, we wrap this up. Oh yeah, right. So we wrap it up with the Reiki prayer, then we'll ring the singing bowl and blow out the candle.
Yeah, this is not.
Right, I keep calling it the Reiki prayer.
We discussed this because the way I learned the Reiki prayer was a positive version of the Reiki prayer. So the Reiki prayer is more of a I will not do a negative. There's a comment. And so we've changed this to when I was. My teacher taught me how to say it in a more positive way. We don't really pray as much, so we kind of are changing it to be more of an ending ritual. So this is the ending ritual. I did post this in our Facebook group. This is how we end, and this is kind of a way to just again connect with something a little more positive at the end of this ritual. So for all of today, I will love. For all of today, I will trust. For all of today, I will be true to myself and others. For all of today, I will give thanks for my many blessings. And for all of today, I will be kind to my neighbor and every living thing. So we're going to have the singing bowl.
And once again, 3 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And that's it for this week. Thanks for bearing with us as we work out the kinks with live streaming on YouTube for the first time. I think this is going to overall be better because now this video is done and we have a higher reach on video on YouTube. So we really want to be active and engaging on YouTube more. So thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching this live or if you're watching the recording, do comment, do share. We do go back and read these comments.
I don't know how to turn this off.
And I think you just hit the X. So have a great week, guys. We'll see you next